So obviously it's somebody who knows me well and that I love New Girl. I'm guessing it's one of my best friends, Julia, because we watch it with her all the time. Love it. I must have watched that show, I think, at least 3 series, like 3 times. So I have to say my favorite character is probably Jess. I think she's hilarious. I love that she just doesn't care what people think of her and she's just totally herself. And I just love it. She's so funny. And I love all the characters, really. I mean, they all have such different personalities and I just love it. They all come together and it's one of my favorite shows. I love the humor of it. You know, after a stressful day, I just love going home and putting that on when I, you know, eat dinner or something. It's just always a good laugh, nice and light, and it's, you know, whenever I need a little pick-me-up, it's definitely what I put on. So, love it! So definitely Cannon Mountain. I grew up skiing there and ski raced with the Franconia Ski Club at Cannon Mountain up in Franconia Notch. So I started ski racing when I was 12 and I just love it there. So my dad grew up ski racing at FSC as well up at Cannon, and so there's generations of families that are there. And so, you know, I ski raced when I was younger. The last several years I actually coached there. I went back and coached. This year though, you know, starting with a full-time real estate job, I'm really busy on the weekends, so I'm not able to coach anymore. But anytime I go back to ski for fun, it's so great to see all the kids, you know, progress, and kids that I used to coach and see how well they're doing. Some of my best friends that I grew up skiing with there and met there, they're now coaching, so it's fun to see them. And then, like I said, all the families, you know, I always see some familiar faces and always have people to ski with when I go back. So Cannon Mountain, super, you know, special to my heart. I just love it there. And it's gorgeous. It's one of the state-owned mountains, so you know, it's just, you look out over Echo Lake and across to Lafayette and 93 running through the Notch. And, you know, I love how the weather can be completely different. So it's nice sunny skies down at Loon or down, you know, Plymouth or Muhlenborough. And then you go up skiing and it can be a blizzard or it can be totally different weather. So that's why they say Cannon's definitely for those, you know, die-hard skiers. It can be icy, it can be windy, but awesome, you know, spring skiing days too, for sure. And then there's, you know, it's state-owned, so there's no slopeside condos. It's not that super big commercial vibe. We just have the mountain, the gorgeous views, the die-hard skiers, and the pub. I'd say from real estate standpoint, I'm also a registered dietitian and nutritionist. So I went to college at UNH, 5 years undergrad to get my nutrition degree, then went down to the VA in Florida to do my dietetic internship. So after 6 years of higher education, I finally became a registered dietitian. And my first job was down in Massachusetts. I worked in nutritional research for the Army, so that was a really cool job. I worked locally at Spear in Plymouth as a dietitian, but shortly after I got my real estate license, and I haven't looked back ever since. I started out doing more of the investor, you know, like renovations and rental properties, which we had long-term rentals and then also short-term on Squam. And I started that with my parents actually, who were changing careers at the time, and we, you know, started a family business, and so they still manage those rentals on the lake, and I help them out when I can. But as you can imagine, it's really busy just being an agent. It's a busy job, so I'm getting in the swing of things, and I'm loving it. So. I'd say from real estate standpoint, I'm also a registered dietitian and nutritionist. So I went to college at UNH, 5 years undergrad to get my nutrition degree, then went down to the VA in Florida to do my dietetic internship. So after 6 years of higher education, I finally became a registered dietitian. And my first job was down in Massachusetts. I worked in nutritional research for the Army, so that was a really cool job. I worked locally at Spear in Plymouth as a dietitian, but shortly after I got my real estate license, and I haven't looked back ever since. I started out doing more of the investor, like renovations and rental properties, which we had long-term rentals and then also short-term on Squam. And I started that with my parents actually, who were changing careers at the time, and we, started a family business. And so they still manage those rentals on the lake, and I help them out when I can. But as you can imagine, it's really busy just being an agent. It's a busy job. So I'm getting in the swing of things and I'm loving it. So I have to say, top of mind, I was helping my buyers with a house that was partially finished. Not finished at all, really. It was really just a shell of a house, and so it was a total mystery trying to figure out what the current owners, sellers, did and where they got. And so it was a lot of looking back and going through the records of the town and kind of like figuring everything out. So that was fun. And then just going through the whole construction loan process. So it needed a new septic, so total new septic design, survey, and then obviously builder's scope of work, so they needed to have that, and they were, getting financing with a lender for the construction loan, so making sure, what they wanted to do with the property and what it would take to get it, up to speed and finished. It would actually appraise out, and so we had to deal with the appraisal and do all those negotiations. So it was definitely a lot, but so happy for my buyers. We're able to close on it, and they are so excited to have their lake house of their dreams that they can, get to put all their finishing touches on. So super excited for them. So I have to say, I think definitely working with my first-time home buyers, especially in this market, it's been super difficult to navigate, and so appreciate their patience and their patience with me. And we've really had to come together and work together and try to get it done, right? So I've been working, with them for months now. And, in this market, it's just so tough because we're beaten out with cash all the time, or people that, have cash to make up in appraisals because prices are just so high right now and are going way above asking price. So proudest being when we finally went under contract, and they're so excited because they feel like every weekend we spend together, we're just putting offers in on, whatever house that we can hopefully get. And this is a house that they really love. And I'm just so excited for them, and to grow their family there and to be there, whether it's, starter years for a few years or, they're forever home. So just so happy that we're able to get it done for them. And when, I see reviews and knowing that I'm really making a difference in their life and my other first-time home buyers and all of my clients' lives, it really, makes me proud, and so happy that I get to be in this business. And I have to say, I love being on this Lake Life Realty team because it allows me to actually get to do what I love, which is helping people, whether they're buying, selling, or renting properties and real estate. So whether they're a first-time home buyer and it's one of the biggest purchases they're ever going to make, I feel like I'm really making a difference in helping them with that and achieving that, dream and goal. Whether it's somebody that is up here that wants to finally, whether they have a full-time job that they don't want to leave, but they, use real estate as some of their passive income. So whether it's, long-term rental or short-term Airbnb rentals that do so well up here on the lake and in the seasonal rental markets. It's great being able to help them and be in a business that I love.